Hi Yellow 6 students, it's Mrs. Shomura-Takata. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how to write a step up to writing conclusion. And we're going to be going over your notes in your composition book. So it's this page. And I'm going to go over it on this computer screen. And then I'm going to show you what you need to do for homework tonight. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is, if you have your composition book, take it out, open it up to that ways to write a conclusion, and then on your computer pull up your step up to writing digital resource. And we're going to just be going over slide 12 today, and it's ways to write a conclusion. I'm going to zoom in. Okay. So as you see at the top, conclusion is color-coded in green. So please, at the top of your composition book here, highlight this in green, ways to write a conclusion. So one of the ways you write a conclusion is that you will restate your position. So a quick way to restate your position without copying your topic sentence is to use a different kind of sentence. For example, if you use a declarative sentence, do you remember that? Maybe you could use an imperative or an interrogative sentence instead. So here is an example of a topic sentence. I love going to the circus. However, my favorite part is watching the aerial artists. So this is a however sentence as a topic sentence. And it's a declarative, okay? The conclusion is written a little bit different. It's more of an imperative. And it says, no one should ever miss an opportunity to see aerial artists when they go to the circus. Okay, so it's a different kind of sentence. It's basically telling the reader, you shouldn't miss this. Okay? Another thing a conclusion does is it reminds the reader of your topic. So the second one here. So writers are encouraged to tell the readers what topic they will be writing about. Then the writers will write about that topic. And then the last step is to remind the reader what the writer wrote about. Becomes a tongue twister almost. Okay. And so I want you to remember this. I'm going to highlight this. Remember, the goal of a conclusion is to have your reader think about the topic that you wrote about. Okay? You're not writing for no reason. There is a reason you are writing, and the purpose of the conclusion is to remind the reader, the person who's reading your writing, what you wrote about. Okay, and to think about what you wrote and what you had to say about that topic. Okay, another thing you can do is use synonyms. Reminding the reader of the topic is easier if you rely on synonyms or words with the same or similar meaning. For example, if the topic is homework, some synonyms you could use instead would be assignments, projects, studies, classwork, lessons. So instead of the word homework, you could use one of these other words to fill in, to replace the word homework. Another thing is you would include a conclusion word. Now, here is something, this first part. Use these words, and this next section is in all caps and underlined, only if they fit the style and purpose of your writing. Okay? So these are some conclusion words you can use, but you should only use it if it fits the purpose of your writing, or it fits the style and tone of your writing. So, some conclusion words are obviously, surely, ultimately, thus, to sum up, for these reasons, as a result, overall, certainly, altogether, consequently, in effect. Now, one that's not here that people will use sometimes is in conclusion. Okay? That's a little bit more of a basic conclusion word you could use, but that is also one you can use. Another thing you might want to do in your conclusion is add a quotation. Now, adding a quotation is often a good choice, but you got to make sure that it fits the topic and it directly supports your topic sentence or thesis statement. And we'll get into that a little bit later in the year. Okay, the next thing is focus the conclusion. So you choose one of these if you're stuck. So these are 4 ways you can focus your conclusion. The first one, sometimes summarizing important ideas makes the most sense as a conclusion. So your conclusion could be a summary, a 1-sentence summary. Other times you can conclude by encouraging the reader to take action, which we're calling a call to action. And we'll come back to that in another quarter as well, quarter 3. If you're trying to persuade the reader, use your conclusion to convince the reader to agree with your point. So if you're trying to get them to believe what you believe, then you would focus the conclusion on trying to convince the person who's reading your paper to agree with you. And the fourth focus would be challenge the reader to take time and think about your topic in your conclusion. Okay? Now, at the bottom of this page, it says avoid these phrases in your conclusions. And that is also here. But if you notice in your composition book, it's just black squares, because when we printed this out, it was a black and white, and so the red kind of just turned into the black. So these are phrases we do not want to see in your conclusions. So there are how many here? 1, 2, 3, there are 6. These are maybe the top 6. There are probably others, but for sure you should not use these. As I have said, don't put that in your conclusion. As I have proved, don't put that in your conclusion. As you can see, don't put that in your conclusion. These are the reasons, don't put that in your conclusion. I believe, don't put that in your conclusion. And I think, don't put that in your conclusion. Okay? So I'm going to tell my students to put an X next to each of these in their composition book. So you can if you want to, you don't have to. But these are things your teachers do not want to see in your conclusion. Okay? All right, so this, you're going to want to kind of go through and highlight whatever's on this page in here. Okay? Now I'm going to go on to your homework tonight. So your homework, you're going to pull up your Step Up to Writing assignment slideshow, and you are going to be doing slide 15, slide 16, and slide 17. So I'm going to go over how to do this. Okay, so you see here, slide 15, it says conclusions. And this is that same writing prompt that we've been working on, and this is an example for you. So the writing prompt is, what is your favorite school lunch, and explain why. And in all the previous slides, it's been about baked chicken. Okay, so slowly we've been filling this T-chart out and then doing this, what we call like an accordion paragraph here. So the topic is baked chicken. All of this should look familiar, actually. The first star idea is crispy skin, and the E's that support it is it's not healthy and it's perfectly crispy and salty. The second star idea is that there's juicy meat in the baked chicken, and that juicy meat fills the person up and is soft and falls off the bone. The third star idea, why they like baked chicken, is that there's a roll, and it is usually served with chicken, and the roll is warm and filling. Okay, so as I scroll down, here is the however topic sentence. I enjoy a lot of school lunches, semicolon. Still, comma, baked chicken has to be my all-time favorite. The first star idea with the transition is, to begin with, I love baked chicken for its crispy skin. Now we see the word crispy, the phrase crispy skin up here. Okay, and we see the transition to begin with. Now the E's are these two here, and here's the E's written out as sentences. Although I know that the chicken skin is not good for my health, I can't help myself. The skin is perfectly crispy with just the right amount of salt. I usually save the skin and eat it last. So these 3 sentences came from these 2 E's. Okay, and I want to remind you that when you're doing your T-chart, it doesn't have to be complete sentences. It can be words and phrases that you will eventually turn into your own sentence. Okay, the second star idea with a transition is, next, baked chicken is my favorite because of the juiciness of the meat. And if we go back up to the T-chart here, the second star idea is juicy meat. And the E's that support the second star idea should be this idea that it fills me up and it is soft and falls off the bone. So let's see what this person came up with. When I pierce my fork into the chicken, I see all the yummy juices ooze out. The meat falls off the bone and is very soft. Together with the rice, this school lunch always satisfies my hunger. Okay, so they turn these 2 E's into 3 sentences here. Okay, the last star idea is going to be about a roll. And here it is. Finally, baked chicken is the best lunch ever since it is always served with a warm roll. The transition word is finally, and then we have that star idea roll. So we've turned this star idea into this sentence. Okay, and then there are going to be 3 sentences made out of these 2 E's that support this warm roll or the roll. So the roll is always soft, and if I get to lunch early enough, it is also warm. It fills me up quickly, so I make sure I eat my baked chicken first. I wish these rolls were served with every school lunch. So this person took these 2 E's and turned it into these 3 sentences. Okay, now you are going to have to type in here a conclusion. And what you're going to do is you will restate your topic sentence. Okay? So you will click in here and then you will type out what you would write as your conclusion. And if you're not sure, that is where this page comes in handy. This can help you figure out how to write your conclusion. Okay? So you will do that. I'm going to scroll down. Okay. And this slide 16, again, this helps you. It's like a reminder, the same notes that were in your composition book. Okay, so use in here plus this to help you. And what you'll notice in this one is that there are actual samples of the different types. So this is the restating your position. This is an example of reminding the reader of the topic. This is using a synonym. Don't copy this one because it is talking about baked chicken. Don't copy this one. This is about baked chicken. Okay. They're all about baked chicken, but don't, just copy them directly. Okay. So here is using synonyms. Here is an example of using a conclusion word. Here is an example of using a quote and then focusing on a conclusion. Okay? If you're really, really having a hard time, then you can choose one of these, but just maybe change the word order around so you're not plagiarizing or copying it exactly. Okay? Because this is practice for you. All right. I believe, yes. You're going to now do the slide 17. Now this is the writing prompt. You're making a bucket list for the next 10 years of your life. And yes. Okay, so this is the same writing prompt you've had all this time. You're going to continue filling in. You're going to basically paste or copy what you had for all your other ones here. And then you will copy your topic sentence, and then your transition and your ease, and then your second star idea with transition and ease, and then your third star idea with transition and ease, and then you will write your conclusion. And you will use slide 16 and slide 15. I paused it on accident, sorry. Slide 15 to help you. Okay? So, again, tonight, that is what your homework is. Alrighty. If you have questions, you know that you can reach your teachers. You can come to their office hours. You can, at the end of the day, you can email them. You can Google Voice them. Just let them know. And remember to be specific with your question. You cannot just say, oh, I don't get any of it. You have to put in your effort, and we can't read your mind, so you have to communicate with us what part you're having a difficult time with. Okay, so with that, I am going to end this video, and remember, you have to complete slide 15, the topic sentence in this one about the baked chicken, and then you're going to complete slide 17 about your 10-year bucket list. Okay, bye.